Ladies and gentlemen, about 3 days ago, the High Court of Kenya halted or stopped a committee that had been formed by President William Ruto to compensate the victims of the 2024 and 2025 demonstration. A committee that had been sworn in the previous day, comprising of Professor Makao Motua as its leader or chairperson, with the LSK President Faith Odhiambo as its vice chairperson. Now, as we get down to talk about what is currently happening in the country, these has caught my attention. It was a high court in Kerogoya that issued a conservatory orders temporarily halting the implementation of President William Ruto's directive on establishing a framework for the compensation of victims of demonstrations and public protest. The Justice Kizito Magare certified the application dated September 5th, 2025 as urgent and directed that it be heard inter partes. Now, going forward, as of today being on 11th of September 2025, we are looking at some certain development on matters these implementation of the said committee. And looking at it, one lawyer by the name of Irongo Honston, as of today, declared that he is not going to continue his work as a panel member on the protest victims compensation team. Irongo Honston, his message has been loud and clear. Although it was not welcomed by all Kenyans because he took the oath of office, it has been one for the books. Not only Irongo Honston, who has said that they will not continue working in the said committee compensation, but also the woman who has been put under scrutiny by the Kenyans, that is one LSK president or the Law Society of Kenya president, Faith Odhiambo, as of today, made a publication that has left a lot of Kenyans asking the question, why did she even take up the job? Looking at what Faith Odhiambo has said today, duty and loyalty, a call to service. It is my solemn patriotic duty and obligation to respect, uphold, and defend the Constitution of Kenya. Let it be clear that, apart from the swearing in, I have not participated in any meetings or engagements with or for the panel of experts on compensation of victims of demonstrations and riots. I respect the rule of law and abide by the court orders given by the High Court. I would like to emphasize that I do not work for the government of Kenya nor the opposition. My call is to serve the people of Kenya and my learned colleagues at the Law Society of Kenya. To this end, I am consulting widely on these because while keenly listening to the voices of the victims and those who still suffer in search of justice, I know there are many Kenyans who were killed and injured, while others have been profiled and taken to court over trumped up charges. I maintain the call to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution to review the trumped up terrorism charges against peaceful protesters and shift focus on prosecuting the trigger happy officers who were caught on camera using excessive force to undermine the right to freedom of assembly. The Law Society of Kenya will continue to offer pro bono services for victims and survivors of police brutality in the various ongoing cases across the country. Now, this is what Faith Odhiambo says, a sentiment that actually many seem not to abide with. A lot of Kenyans have taken it upon themselves to attack her. You know, before she took the oath of office as the vice chairperson of the said committee, Kenyans had warned her. Kenyans had called down to her, warning her that Madame Faith Odhiambo, we hold you high in so regard. So don't you dare take any job or position offered to you by either President William Ruto or Raila Amolo Odinga or even the opposition at large. Stand your ground as the voice of the voiceless, as the voice of the people of the Republic of Kenya who are still suffering in silence after their brothers and sisters, mothers, and fathers were killed in the streets of Nairobi and in other streets of the Republic of Kenya during the 2024 and 2025 anti-government protest. Now, looking at this, it tells you that William Ruto is losing on both hands. The man is clinging on a straw that cannot hold on to him no more. If people like Odhiambo are now claiming that, you know what, it's only the swearing in that I attended. I haven't attended any meetings of the said committee. Since the halting was declared by the High Court of Kenya, I took a back seat to observe and learn from the voices of the people of the Republic of Kenya whether they would want me to continue serving in the said committee or whether I should withdraw myself. That is what actually she was saying. Now, what will William Ruto do? The other day, we saw Professor Makao Moto, the chairperson of the said committee, speaking on an interview in Citizen TV. The man tried to justify how this will be a way to head violence and chaos in the Republic of Kenya. But the question that was asked mostly while many of us monitored the said interview was, Professor Makao Moto, can you tell us how much your life is worth? Because the life that you want to compensate, we want it to be compensated on the same amount that you think your life is worth. If you think your life is worth 1 billion Kenyan shillings, then we want every Kenyan that was killed on the protest of the 2024 and 2025 general election to be paid 1 billion Kenyan shillings each, so that their families can continue sustaining themselves and knowing that their kids did not die in vain. Because the mistake that the young men and women of the Republic of Kenya did was to go in the streets of Nairobi protesting and calling for justice and for the end of corruption in this republic. I want to read some comments that were made by Kenyans after the statement was made by Fido Odhiambo. I see one George T. Diano saying, I don't work for the government, as if it was Sikendo elders who appointed you to do that panel. You don't have to explain yourself. The moment you decided to sit at the table with the murderers is when the public parted ways with you. Enjoy your allowances in peace. Okara Maranga says, please respect, uphold, and defend the Constitution of Kenya, both as an individual, as a president of the Law Society of Kenya. I see one Anyole to Kutenderesa saying, Dearest Fedo Odhiambo, thank you for clarifying your position. It is important for victims and the public to understand where you stand. At the same time, many people still feel uneasy when those who have fought for justice appear aligned, even symbolically. Photo hopes, the same state machinery responsible for their pain, trust deficit remains, and it will take consistency in action, not just once. So, Bridget, we hope for accountability, real justice, and to see perpetrators of brutality face jail, not promotions. That's what's up, and that is what Kenyans are saying on matters of Fedo Odhiambo's statement today. I see Papa Ibenji saying, you cannot lead the LSK and serve the government of the day in an unconstitutional office. Do the right thing and resign from LSK so we can have a president that won't be conflicted when it comes to fighting for human rights. Yes, that's what's up, and that's what Kenyans are saying. I would love to know your take in regards to this matter, because it seems that Kenyans are not taking anything that Fedo Odhiambo is telling them, because they believe that she betrayed them the moment that she lifted the Bible and swore an oath of going ahead to work in that committee, I don't know, of whatever, trying to compensate. The question that we ask, how much is a life? I mean, maisha unaweza ya quote na amount ya pesa ngapi ndio tuone kama munaweza lipa hao watu. Hao wazazi walipoteza watoto wao. That's what's up, and make sure you subscribe to the Kenyan Daily Report for more news and more update. Tell me what you think about Fedo Odhiambo's sentiments today.